Hal was an amazing supporter of El Paso, El Paso. As a lot of you know, his daughter, Liliana, is also an entrepreneur here in El Paso, and I'm sure she will be working to carry on the cause.
In fact, was it last year or 2 years ago for Christmas, they allowed us to have, they hosted us 1 Million Cups at their gallery, and it was an amazing event. So Serena's right, they're amazing supporters of El Paso, of 1 Million Cups, of entrepreneurs. So yes, please continue to support Lelania and the Marcus family and their legacy as much as possible, please. Yes.
And she even came back and presented a couple weeks ago here at 1 Million Cups. So my heart goes out to her and his family and all of El Paso. I think, he's going to leave a great boy. With that, let's go ahead and start our video this morning.
It's
sorry.
A place where entrepreneurs can come and connect within the community. There's a real kind of vibe or a real energy here that's about supporting entrepreneurs. We have two presenters each week, two entrepreneurs. They come and tell about their journey. They each have about 6 minutes to present. You're telling people what you're up to, and you're essentially getting feedback from them. There's about 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A. All the questions that they asked us really got us thinking about new ways to think about our business. We'll just be able to get that feedback from the rest of the community. So over the years, we've added more cities. Creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
Last question for you: what can we as a community do for you?
So what can we as a community do to help the question is what really coalesces the community around every single presenter.
When somebody applies to present to 1 Million Cups, you're instructed to watch a series of videos through the Public Foundry School website. It's invaluable information for someone who's founding a startup. I felt better prepared, I felt more confident, and I think a little more focused than I would have been otherwise. And I not watched the videos on Foundry School, so it was a great way to prepare. I really like the educational component of 1 Million Cups because it does create that open forum. You're going to hear great ideas that will help you start thinking even more about what you want to do with your business. What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable. The cool thing about 1 Million Cups is you're amongst other people like yourself. Just hearing someone talk about their startup, it's just a magical thing. Wow, there's other people out there like myself. Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to research. You know what? My idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. And if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
So as you guys just heard, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, 1 Million Cups
TurboTax expert in your community. Do your taxes.
To help support local startups and local small businesses. So our meetings are formatted a little bit differently than the typical networking meeting. We're not really here to hear your sales pitch. We're here to hear your journey of your entrepreneurship, right? Like what was the passion that led you to do what you're doing? How did that journey look as you started the venture of creating and opening and running your own business? What have your challenges been? What have your successes been? Where are you now in that journey? And how can we as a community, as you heard, how can we as a community help you? What is your next step? What do you need? Do you need connections to funding sources? Do you need connections to other entrepreneurs? Or what do you need connections to? How can we help you? So that's the basic idea for 1 Million Cups, and the name came from, so there's 120 or 121 communities of 1 Million Cups across the country, and we all meet from 9 to 10 every Wednesday. And so the idea is over 1 million cups of coffee, we're doing business for supporting local and small businesses and startups. So that's kind of what the idea was when they first started this. How many years ago?
It was before COVID, so I'm guessing it was 2017.
That's when we started. But when did they start?
So we joined 1 Million Cups about 3 years after they had started.
Okay.
When we joined 1 Million Cups, there was only about 25 communities. And then prior to COVID, we had gotten to over 200. COVID wiped out a bunch of communities and almost wiped us out too. So yes, we're building back. We went back on with about 100, and now it's still slowly climbing again until now it's a little bit over 120.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about 1 Million Cups and what our purpose here is. I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Our venue sponsor, of course, is the MCA. Thank you. We appreciate them. They allow us to come here every week and use their space. It's centrally located. We have plenty of parking, easy for everybody to find. So we really appreciate them letting us use their building every week. And Lauterbach Borshaw, they are our community sponsor, and we appreciate everything they do to help support our efforts here at 1 Million Cups. And then really quickly, I'd like to have our organizers introduce themselves. Oh yes, and Guillen Properties sponsored the Pan Dulce this morning.
Yes, the Pan Dulce. Oh, you know what? Hi, everyone. I am the presenter coach here with 1 Million Cups. So welcome. I am the founder and host of 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City. We are a media channel who is elevating and amplifying trust, visibility, and community in borderland healthcare by way of patient and caregiver empowerment. So super excited. You can find me on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City, and welcome to 1 Million Cups this morning.
Well, no, there's some past organizers that we call our 1 Million Cups ambassadors, so we'd like to recognize them. Please introduce yourselves.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rosalind Thornton with Legal Shield and Identity Theft Services, and we empower businesses and families with affordable legal nationwide through a network of full service law firms and identity theft protection. So thank you all for being here today. We have amazing speakers every week.
Yes. Tina?
I'm Tina Dwyer. I am a headshot wedding photographer, and goodness, you guys called me out. I'm on this for a long time, but I highly recommend it to everybody.
We're apart for a long time.
Yes.
Too, Mr. Emmett?
No.
Mr. Emmett Ghosh?
So I'm very happy that so many people have showed up today and eager to hear what David has to say. So I've been with 1 Million for some time, and first as an attendant, and then we were part of the organization. So glad to see the journeys of the entrepreneurs and see how we can all help together. Well, I have a software company, by the way.
And Miss RC.
Hi, I'm Marcy Sadman. I'm the marketing manager at OnePlus, home of the $59 health plan. I've been coming here for a little bit over a year, years approximately. And we welcome you. We have a versatile of speakers and entrepreneurs. And I can come because this is an amazing organization where you can meet with people and help them out, and we can go and save this well. Thank you.
And he probably doesn't want to speak, but Gilbert back there is an honorary organizer. Thank you, Gilbert, for all your efforts in supporting us.
We've tried to vote him off the committee several times. Since he's not officially a member, we can't do it. He's smart. He's smarter than the rest of us. That's why he won't join. No. He's a great supporter. My name is Ernesto Gambo. I'm a longtime business coach and consultant here in town. I teach a thing called business therapy to my clients, business therapy. And if you're wondering what business therapy is, let's grab some coffee and sit down and talk about it.
I'm Serena Harper. I work in business development, revenue growth, and diversification for a firm called SAM. We are a land surveying and mapping firm. So with that, I would love, it's my honor, to bring out David Merrick from DevDrop.
Thank you. Thank you.
To the right advances, to the left is back.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being out here. Give me one moment. Normally when I present, I like to record myself. Today's been a heavy week. We lost someone very important to our community. And if you're not familiar with Hal Marcus or his work, I really recommend that you go check out some of his artwork. He is honestly one of my favorite artists period, but absolutely my favorite artist in El Paso. Last year, I'll just share a brief anecdote before I get started. I had the opportunity to restore Hal's cabin in Ruidoso, this beautiful 2-story log cabin that he built by hand in the 70s. And the cabin was less of a cabin and more of an art gallery with a problem. The reason why he had tasked me is that it hadn't been restored since the last century, since the 70s, since it was originally done, and it had been overtaken by rodents, mice, and rats. So he tasked me with not only restoring the property, but also getting rid of the rodents. There was one catch, Hal told me. I was not to harm the animals. I couldn't harm the mice. I couldn't harm the rats. I could build them a new shelter. I could plug up the places where they were, and I could put oils there to tickle their noses, but I could not do anything in my power to harm them. And that was the philosophy that not only Hal has, but he has passed on through his daughter, Leilania, is being good stewards of our local ecology, being good stewards of the nature and the places that we inhabit. And that's something that I also try to channel. My name is David Merrick. I'm the founder, creator of DropDev. And I'll be sharing over these next few moments a little bit about what I do, but I want you to know that this story is not just my story. This is our story here, which is why I titled my presentation today, Boomerang Builders. Now, as many of you often know, we do have a brain drain problem in El Paso, where some of our most talented, most educated individuals leave El Paso seeking better opportunities. I was not unique to this problem. I also left, worked in the semiconductor industry for several years before finally returning, and it took a global pandemic for me to return home.
Yeah.
But I am so glad that I did, because once I was back here, I got to rediscover the community that I had left behind was now larger than I had ever seen it before. More ambitious, more hungry for something sustainable here than I had ever seen before. Let's go a little bit over my background in education. I originally was studying English and accounting. Believe it or not, I wanted to be a lawyer. I dropped out of university at the 3rd year. I realized as all my friends were working at hedge funds and investment firms, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a business owner. So I dropped out of university. I opened up my own business. It was actually a photography and videography business. I ran that for a year. And then I realized with the pressure of my family and community, I have to go back to school. What was the best decision I could make? I found that to be electrical and computer engineering. And in that way, not only could I use my knowledge in order to learn a very technical skill and bring that to my community, but also build a business out of it. So I studied at UTEP and then finally graduated from New Mexico State University. Not that I don't love our UTEP, it's just they didn't have a power program back then. Afterwards, I went to go work for Texas Instruments, which several of you may know as the calculator company. In fact, I'm sure some of you may not even think they do anything else besides calculators. Yeah, and it's true. I worked on the multiply button. So that was my domain right there, was the multiply button. I had to make sure. No, I'm kidding. It's actually
that's the most important button.
That's the most important, right? Texas Instruments is actually one of the largest semiconductor manufacturers in the entire world. So they are critical to our infrastructure. They produce semiconductors that I have and you have in your cell phones, in your cameras, in the lighting, in the HVAC systems that run this, in our vehicles, in our smartwatches. If you have any electric devices or electronic devices, there is a very high likelihood, I'm talking about above 40%, that a TI part, and maybe even one of the parts that I was selling, is in that device. After my time with Texas Instruments, I wanted to move a little bit away from the semiconductor into software, but it wouldn't let me. I got hired on by Intel. And for Intel, I was overseeing their essential footprint. That's their government, healthcare, cloud computing, artificial intelligence. But let me tell you, even at that time when I was managing all of their essential footprints, I never thought that I would be owning my own software development company that's specialized in artificial intelligence. And that's precisely what we do at DropDev. We are a local software development company with an emphasis on artificial intelligence and machine learning. But we take the technical and we bring it to the local businesses here so that they are actually able to use it. It's not just great to make this technology available to all of us, as AI and machine learning is now, but it's also crucial and critical to make it accessible. And if I'm doing my job right, I don't want you as a business owner to have to learn all of these technical details, technical concepts, and software in order for you to run your business. I want you to excel at what you're already doing, and I want to give you the tools to empower you in your journey to become a better photographer, a more efficient photographer, or to become someone who's able to manage loans a lot easier, to manage health plans a lot easier without the administrative burden that we were once dealt with. I moved back to El Paso during COVID, and what I found was a little bit strange. Now, my cousin, he was studying at UTEP for computer science. I started mentoring him, and soon the word got out that an Intel engineer was mentoring a student there. And then before long, I ended up mentoring over 15 students. Google heard about it, and they asked me to actually be the Google Developer Group lead for the region. And so that's what I am as well. I'm the Google Developer Group lead for Juarez, El Paso, y Las Cruces. And my goal there is to bring the resources, bring the knowledge and the education and connections from Google to El Paso. You might ask, how have we been doing? Well, we've hosted hackathons. We hosted the first bilingual pitch competition ever in El Paso. We did that here. We've also hosted technical workshops too. We've hosted resume support workshops. That's great. But you know what that problem is? That's not helping the brain drain. That's making it worse, because now we're connecting these talented individuals with the actual people they need and getting them on the radar of AWS, getting them on the radar of Salesforce. Several of my employees at DropDev have already been stolen from Salesforce, Microsoft, AWS.
Wow.
I see this problem firsthand. What are we doing to solve this problem? What are we doing? Well, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for El Pasoans and people from our community to become educated and want more and be ambitious and leave El Paso. But my main request is, if those individuals at all feel like El Paso is a home for them, it's a place that they could raise their family, I want them to be able to come back. I want them to be able and to feel empowered that they can go home to their community, and whether they're working for a local tech company, which we have, or working for themselves as an entrepreneur, which we have an awesome community of right here, or even working remote as I did here, that they feel there are the resources and the community to empower them to do so. And that's why I called this presentation Boomerang Builders. Is the solution to the brain drain problem is for us to cultivate this community and this culture where we are more accepting of entrepreneurship, more accepting of technology here, right? And I'm just talking about the tech entrepreneurs, that we need to be more inviting, more collaborative, as everybody in here is doing. So I commend you for this. I think I caught just about everything on here. And I'll show you a few demos of what we have cooking up for you guys. But my latest venture is called Health Atlas. Now, Health Atlas is a personal health record platform that allows you to securely store, share, but most importantly, understand your medical history. Who in here has ever had imaging, CAT scan, MRI, X-ray? Please raise your hand and leave your hand raised, please. Now, put your hand down if in the next 5 minutes you can show me that imaging. Many hands go down. A few hands stay up. That's a huge problem. What if your life depended on it? What if your partner's life depended on having those records? You cannot rely on the medical system to get you these records quickly and in a satisfactory manner, especially if you're overseas or if an accident happens during a holiday weekend, God forbid.
Wow.
So the main critical task that we do is we retrieve your records for you and we translate them into your native language, whatever is easier for you to understand so that you understand your health profile. Over 80% of individuals do not have a clear understanding of their own medical profile. It's a sad state of affairs when we know more about the work that's been done on our cars than the work that's been done on our own bodies. We're not alone in this. We've already won several competitions here in the Borderland region and beyond. We took home first place at the Medical Center of the Americas Elevate competition, and they gave us their belief and their support. Then we took home first place at the Small Business Development Center competition, their pitch competition as well. And we received some funding and some belief from AWS and their partners. Finally, this year, I was very glad and honored to take home first place, Best in Show, at the HIMSS conference. That's the Health Information Management Society conference, the largest health tech society in the world, gave us their vote of confidence for Best in Show on member engagement and trust. Members, that's what insurance companies call us. But I don't see us as members. I don't see us as patients. I see us as people. I see us as fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers. And that's why we created Health Atlas. Because I saw my aunt get diagnosed with cancer, and she was living in Mexico. And we brought her up to the United States. We promised her better treatment of care. We promised that to her. But all of her providers of care only spoke English. She only spoke Spanish. And all of her records, all of her tests, which she had ready to go, were all in Spanish and tossed away. We had to get those tests done again. And it's not the money. The money is one thing, sure, but it's the time. You know, if one of your loved ones or if a friend has been diagnosed, time is critical. Every day matters. And that's why we have this crazy idea that maybe the people who should own the medical records are the people who the medical records are about. Crazy idea. We are currently in the NSF I-Corps program, the National Science Foundation I-Corps program. We've already built out the patient side, which is what you guys would be seeing. We're now currently working on the provider and the payer, the insurance company side. We are also building out the AI agents that will go and retrieve these records for you, making sure we're very diligent about testing. So what do I need? What is my main ask? My main ask is, please, if you know anybody in the insurance space, in the medical insurance space, if you know anybody in the physician, clinician, healthcare space who's a provider of care, please connect me with them. I'm currently in the NSF program. I need to conduct 20 interviews by next week. So I'm very eager to meet anybody and everybody that I know. People think El Paso is left behind in technology. I'm hoping to change that. I'm hoping to make us a tech-forward city, but it can only happen by us investing and really serving the entrepreneurs that are trying to build something new in this space. You look at the desert, you see how dry it is. In many, many ways, our entrepreneurship community is the same. But I would tell you, please do not focus on the desert in between the plants. Focus on the life. Focus on the green, and you will find it. There is so much of that in our Chihuahuan desert. And please, when you see it, cultivate it. And I'm not talking about plants here. I'm talking about entrepreneurs. So this is how you can help me with Health Atlas. First is introductions. Anyone in health administration, medical records, clinical operations. But then you might tell me, okay, David, this is nice. This is cool, but I'm not in medical. I don't know anybody that's in medical. So why do I care? How should I help? Well, I have a very interesting opportunity as the Google Developer Group lead, which is actually a border hackathon. 2 years ago, we held a border hack here in El Paso to connect developers from across the border, from across schools, from across languages and cultures to build for the United Nations. They had their 17 sustainable goals that we were aiming to solve. And we had some fantastic submissions, some phenomenal submissions. The problem is we have a group of El Pasoans building technology for people in New York that may never see it. I hated that. I think that's a huge problem and a huge waste of our efforts and energy. So we're bringing back the border hack this time, but this time I want to serve our community. So if you are a nonprofit organization or you are a business owner, we are looking to have this program where you can put up a challenge or a bounty, and we will have the student developers solve this bounty for you. They will act as bounty hunters. This is going to be a collaboration between private industry, that's you guys, between the students who are developing this software for you for pennies on the dollar. Honestly, ask any software developer, ask Amet. Software is very expensive, but here these student developers are able to develop it for you for extremely cost-effective rates, and they do it because they need that experience. And finally, we're pulling in the entrepreneur support organizations to aid and guide not only the developers as they create their technology and business plans, but also the small businesses that are invited into this. So please, if you have a small business, you know someone with a small business, they would love some development work at a very, very low cost in order to support the community of entrepreneurs, please let me know. And finally, if you see yourself using Health Atlas, if this is something that would have helped a family member, please let me know. These stories are very important to me, not just for the business side, but they keep me going. I turned away from Health Atlas for a year. During that time, I had 3 individuals come up to me telling me about their friends, about their family who needed this. I've never had that happen with my software before, where someone comes and tells me, I need this right now. I will pay anything for it. Because at the end of the day, software that makes us more money is nice. But software that helps keep us alive, helps keep us informed, is the most important thing. So let's connect. I encourage you to scan this QR code. That takes you to my LinkedIn. I have a few goodies I'll show you. In fact, I'll tell you what. While everybody gets their phones out, gets everything ready, I'll go ahead and I can show you some demos. Well, I see everyone's already scanning it. Go ahead. I won't stop it. I won't stop it. Yeah, I won't stop it. Yes.
So David, getting back to the core of 1 million cups, what motivated you to start your business? What was your challenge to start the business? And where did you get the funding? Those 3 specific questions.
Okay, so why did I start my business? I've been a business person since birth, I want to say. I originally got my start in entrepreneurship when I was about 10 years old, maybe even younger. My mom, she really inspired me, and she owned her own computer engineering firm. She owned Robotronics here, which they used to build computers. Because at that time, we didn't really have so much of these prepackaged laptops where you would go and buy. It was a lot more common to build your own computers. So even though I was very, very small, I couldn't help her move around the computers too much. I would be in charge of the software, the booting, the loading. So entrepreneurship has really been in my DNA since. My first foray with entrepreneurship was actually, funny story, selling bootleg CDs for my friends. You know, I would burn CDs for my friends, and you know, my mom, because she had that business, had a stack of these writable CDs, and here I was, you know, downloading the music and getting it from my friends, and my mom got so mad at me. She said, "What are you doing? We had this giant stack of CDs, now it's halfway gone. Where'd they go?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm giving it to my friends." She's like, "How much are you charging them?" I'm like, "Charging them? What do you mean?" And she said, "Okay, that's it. With your allowance money, you're paying for all these CDs." And she helped me structure a business plan of where I could still provide value to my friends, where they would be able to give me money, and it wasn't exacerbatory or anything, but that way I was able to keep it sustainable. And so that's why that's why I started getting into entrepreneurship. But once I got back to El Paso, I realized that I wanted to build. I've always had that hunger inside of me, even from university.
What was the challenge when you were doing it?
The challenge was, there's so many challenges. I mean, it's having the money, right? And the money is very, very tough challenge, because as several of you know, whenever you're starting a business, it's like, okay, maybe you have the money, but you don't have the energy or the time, right? If you're working a 9 to 5, or maybe you have the energy and the time, but you don't have the money, or maybe unfortunately you don't have either. Fortunately, I was a good steward of my capital, so I had a little bit of money saved up from my real estate investments, and I was able to funnel that into Drop Dev, where we are soon to be profitable. We are already making money, but I invested so much of my money up front that I'm barely about to break even.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Thank you. And your third question?
It was the money when you
That
were
one?
involved.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Any other questions?
Yes.
With regards to the brain drain and the problem of the brain drain, because I agree that it's probably one of the most existential crises that we have here in El Paso. Have you ever done any deep dive of people, like you said, it took a pandemic for you to come back? Why do people have such an emotional aversion to coming back to El Paso? I have some answers, but I'm wondering if you've ever done any research on the psychological drivers as to why people have that same aversion that you yourself just called out.
Right. So we could look at the push and pull factors here. Major push factor is economics, right? If I work here, you know, I've gotten offers from jobs. The highest job offer that I've gotten here was a little north of $100,000. My last job that I was working remote, I was getting paid $165,000.
Yeah. See.
It doesn't make sense. You know, I have employees of mine that have been stolen, and their first job out of university, they're making $180,000. So those are major pull factors to other places, but also push factors of, I don't have enough money to live a lifestyle here that I want to. I think another one is kind of, unfortunately, it's a little bit of ignorance. We always say there's nothing to do in El Paso, and we perpetuate the culture that there's nothing to do in El Paso. But there's so much to do in El Paso. We just don't communicate it in a very effective way.
I think that stigma that there's nothing to do in El Paso, it's a symptom of something much deeper that I suggest that you look into. People here that grow up here, I don't understand why, but we're like, we have like a sense of shame. There's like this real sense of like embarrassment that is prevalent here. I found that, and that's one of me personally. I've moved to other cities, and when I had to move back, I feel like really like I am right now. I feel really deeply disturbed because I don't want to take back that feeling of shame. Another thing that I'll tell you that happens to entrepreneurs here, and So you pointed out some things that I think are really important for people to understand. This hackathon type of environment that Google and the big tech people, they create, it really is, it's a closed loop system of extraction, and the poaching of talent, that's one of the side products of that. I would like to see your business be successful. And so I would like to give you those two pieces of advice. Understand why people have an emotional, like entrepreneurs that get out of the city, and not only do they find things to do, they find like-minded individuals. They find like talent competitions where it's not a closed loop like it is here. Those things are the things that give real life, real creative energy to entrepreneurs, and that's the thing that is sorely lacking. That is something that you cannot buy. That is something that AI cannot produce for you. And I wish that there was money in telling the truth. I would be a millionaire right now. But unfortunately, the money that exists in these resilient communities, it's to suppress the truth. And that is, I'm telling you from somebody that's been doing machine learning since at least 15 years with After Effects. You said that you used to have a video production company, right? You understand like rotoscoping and how rotoscoping became automated and all of that?
Well, I don't want to go too much into to the weeds here, but I go ahead.
So I've been before these systems were commercially available, I've been interacting them for a really long time. And I can just say that it's great to see groups meeting. It really is. But I'm really concerned about the predatory energy that comes from a lot of these like hacktivist communities. It's bad. It's really bad. I've had like the bounty that you mentioned. I've had a bounty weaponized against me by a group called Cicada, and it's terrible to have to go through that. I really sincerely hope, once again, that the underlying things that will make this community vibrant, prosperous, self-sustaining, is find a way to remove the shame that is built into people that live here, that they grow up, and they find escape from out of town. And please find a way to stop the predatory nature where poaching talent and sometimes even blacklisting them so they can't compete, so people don't weaponize that. That's the real issue here, is that talent gets sidelined, it gets co-opted, or it gets weaponized. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Luis Ruiz.
Luis actually mentions some really solid points here that I want to dive into a little bit. So first of all, just so you know, for my work with the Google Developer Group, it is resources and education coming here. It is not exploitive in the way that we at GDG grab talent here and send them over to Google. The problem is whenever we showcase our hackathons, or we showcase and make noise and publicity on this, or also whenever I have my development company and people learn about us, they see who's working for us, and of course they have deeper pockets. But Luis also made another mention to something which I do think does have a lot of truth to it, which is us as El Pasoans, we don't have that sense of pride that we should have. We live in a beautiful, amazing community full of very educated individuals from around the world. Mm-hmm. We have some of the most diverse minds here, but we need to find a way to cultivate and empower those individuals. And please, never think of yourself less than someone else just because they're from New York or from Boston or from San Francisco. I see this all the time in the developer community, where the students that I mentor or the businesses that I talk to, they say, oh, well, we're just here from the border. We're not like those from the Bay. I said, you're crazy. You're living right here, right now, in this nexus of space and time where nobody has more power over your life than you do right here and right now. And if you think that those individuals over there have more power than you, that they're smarter than you, that they have more ability than you, then you're right. You're giving that energy to them. I challenge you not to give your energy away, to keep that energy here in our borderland, in our community. And I will show you a couple of demos of what we're cooking up in order to foster this community, in order to help this community. But thank you, and I really invite you to continue a conversation with me afterwards, because I'm interested in what you have to say and how we can do better as not only GDG, but also myself as drop dev and as a community leader to take that feedback and help it actually
I
grow.
appreciate you for letting me feel heard.
Yeah.
This is a platform that we are about to release. It's called Medora. What is Medora? El Paso is known as a medical tourism city. We have people that, unfortunately, because of the raising cost of healthcare, they come to El Paso from all over the country. You may not know this, but I run a lot of Airbnbs. I can't tell you how oftentimes my Airbnbs are full of people who are here for medical tourism, right? And that's going south or going north. The people who are going north, it's usually complications with cancer, surgery, or birth. So a lot of end of life, beginning of life stuff. But actually, the people that I see tending to go south are more towards elective operations or dentistry, basically just everything else, even health body scans that have become very popular in the recent years. So with this platform, you'll be able to select what you want to go see, a dentist, orthodontist, plastic surgery, pediatrics, and you'll be able to see on what side of the border, blue is the US, green is Mexico, and you can find providers in Juarez. So this might even help you if you haven't seen a dentist recently, you want to go see a dentist at an affordable price, you can just go in here, you can filter by star rating, by where you want to see them, and I'll just give you a little bit of an example. So we can go see in Juarez, and we can filter out the ones that are the highest stars. And that's them. We're still doing a lot of improvements to this. Okay, we've got 1 minute left, so I'll be quick here. If you have any improvements, please let me know. Next thing I have for you is a lot of our websites, to be frank, suck. They're terrible. They're not built for AI, unfortunately. So we help a lot of businesses modernize their website, modernize their presence to actually be AI compatible. Answer engine optimization, search engine optimization, generative engine optimization. Punch in your website right here and it'll score it for you. I wish I had time to show you, and maybe I will sneak in a little demo, but while I do, any questions? If we still have 10 seconds.
Well, let me ask. The reason I'm doing this so that we have at least 5 minutes for community announcements, but if you're all cool, we can give David a little bit more time. You all tell me.
Does anyone have any community
So-
announcements? Okay. Tomorrow.
Oh, that's okay.
The Hispanic Chamber tomorrow. Today's
No,
Wednesday.
Friday.
Friday. The Hispanic Chamber Cafe Conduce, which is a core networking event, going to be at Western Tech in Plaza Circle, 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. All right, so we hope to see y'all there.
Thank you.
Any other community announcements? Going once? Twice? Okay. David, you're back on.
That is it.
Okay, cool. Any questions for me while I load this thing up? Please, guys. What's that? You want to check out the website? All right, please connect with me.
And I have some physicians and folks that I've already texted and they're interested in talking to.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to make,
Same?
definitely chat.
Okay, all right. Ahmet, where are you? I know you had a question too.
I didn't have a question or a comment actually.
Oh, go ahead.
Following up with, but what's your name, Luis, right? Yes, exactly. So I will speak from a different perspective because I'm not only a Luis, but I taught in Utah for many years. And I've seen many students born and raised here telling me that they want to get the hell out of here and go to usually San Antonio or Austin are the two choices for most of them. And I was running to them again a few months later, a few years later. So what happened? Oh, I didn't like it. This happened, that happened. So I think I will just say I've been here 27 years now. 29 years, I think. Sorry, I keep forgetting. But I will just say that El Paso doesn't know how good El Paso is. That's just a fact.
It's true.
Okay, I lived in Boston many years and I love Boston, but I love East Coast more than any other except the Southwest. I'm biased to Southwest and East Coast, but people are very aggressive there because the environment makes you aggressive. You're running. People are not always nice, and that's the way it is. So I think people here are very nice, very polite, and I think that's why a lot of people, when they leave town, they want that behavior, what they see here, there, and they will not get that there. They might get it with somebody, but in general, they won't, right?
Sure.
So I think El Paso people need to be told, I guess, or reminded maybe, that El Paso is probably one of the nicest places there is. And I don't say that casually. And then this whole idea of what is there to do here, this same old story you hear over and over again, can be addressed. And I know I understand when people get money and they have to lose. We get it. We get all that. But the fact that El Paso is a great place can't be argued. You could live in Austin, but that doesn't make it. And my sister lives in Houston. I go there. I would never live in Houston. Okay, but there are a lot of jobs in Houston. And so I think we need to understand that difference and appreciate the El Paso work.
Thank you, Matt. Let me just share this website, and then we'll get Michelle, and we'll get, what's your name? Sandra. So here we typed in El Paso, city of El Paso, Texas.gov, right? And the scan, if you saw, it took a little bit to complete. It's doing some heavy work in the background. That's why. It's a free resource.
Pretty involved website, right? I mean,
it's very involved, and we're scanning it on multiple different dimensions in order to extract your SEO score, AEO, GEO score. We break it down for you. We actually will tell you a summary of it, where it excels, where it doesn't, and you can see strengths and issues right here, right, that you can use to improve your website for your own business. And then finally, this is the part that gets me. Okay, obviously we have the recommendations, and you can actually see what AI is seeing. This is what it's scraping from the site. So this is extremely valuable, extremely useful. It is something that is entirely free. We are about to launch it, so please connect with me on LinkedIn, and you'll see these two sites, both Medora, which will evolve, this website checker, which won't evolve, on our website, completely there for you, for your resource and to help you. Thank you all very much. But yeah, Michelle, you had a question.
Yeah, I was going to say that I just was going to kind of sprinkle in my little 2 cents about this area, and also it goes really well with what you're doing, obviously, with the medical profession, because I do feel like this region is very much a healing space on a spiritual level and on a physical level. And I didn't even know it was a medical tourism place. But to what you were saying, as far as everything seeming like a closed loop of access, you were talking about that. I have definitely experienced that. I see how that is actually a real thing, because when I came back to this region from a very professional space when I lived in Kentucky, and I started at the bottom, quote unquote, here when I got back, and I can see how there's just a lot of gatekeeping. Even as open as things are, there does seem to still be a certain way of access. So the reason that I started 5-Star Conversation is to get more people engaged in their healing and in their personal healing, so that they can be more of the leaders that we need in this area. Because I do think that that's important, and it is to break the stigma that everything is separate and that it's hard to have access, because on the same side that it's a closed loop, on the other side, there's so many resources and people that are willing to share them. But because of that perception, people don't break in. I'm nosy, so I don't mind. I don't mind just, getting in where I fit in, and I bust the door down and I make myself known. That's just how I've always been, but not a lot of people are like that. So that's why I decided, after trying a lot of things, that the healthcare space is where I do want, because ultimately, if we're not healthy, we're not going to grow as individuals. We're not going to be more open to, understanding what our resources is and using them. So that's why I decided to go in that direction. So I just wanted to share that.
Kudos for you. And if you're feeling that same way, that there is some institutional blockage or something holding you back, like a cement in the desert, then yeah, what I would tell you is break through. Focus on the life. Focus on the green. Break through as life does through cement. Oftentimes we see the force of nature. It breaks through these man-made artificial structures that we try to use in order to control things. So do not get discouraged. Feel empowered that there are individuals like Michelle, like Louise, that really see this challenge and want to break through. So I encourage you to have that tenacity, to have that hunger in what it is you do. And if you see something that is an institutional blockage that's only kept there by tradition, please evolve it, grow it.
That's fantastic.
Something.
So my, I guess, comment question to you is that we went to the Borderplex. We had an IA class for 2 days, separate days. One of the things that he did, we talked about a little bit about how people leave El Paso. And one of the things that he did say is that because we don't have those type of jobs, and he did some research and he said that the type of jobs that people are graduating from UTEP, from the university, but we don't have those jobs here. So that's why a lot of people leave. Is that? It's
true. It's changing. We just got the AMAC Center, the Advanced Manufacturing Center, advanced computing as well. There's a lot of emphasis on El Paso. Maybe some of you don't know this, and I have the fortunate opportunity to tell you, El Paso is going to become Space Valley. If you look on every side, we are surrounded. In Van Horn, we have Blue Origin. In Truth or Consequences, we have Virgin Galactic. We have Spaceport America, one of the largest spaceports in the United States. We have it here in our backyard. We have White Sands Missile Range right to the north. We are going to become a space economy. And that's what I mentioned is please believe in yourself, believe in your family, believe in your community. Great things are going to happen here, but only with our hope and with our energy.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maybe we have a little gift for our presenters here.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, here, let me,